This episode of Fertile Talks is sponsored by ILMeds.co, an international mail order pharmacy specializing in fertility medications. If you're looking to save significantly on your fertility treatments without compromising on quality, ILMeds.co is an excellent choice, offering up to 80% of retail prices. And as a special offer to our listeners, use the code FT24 at checkout to receive a $50 discount on your order. For your convenience, you can find a link to their website in the episode show notes. Thank you, and let's get started. Welcome to Fertile Talks, the global podcast celebrating the diversity of fertility journeys. I'm your host, Dr. Yemi Famuyiwa. Whether you're just starting or simply curious, this is your safe space. In each episode, we will bring you expert insights, heartfelt personal stories, and the latest in reproductive health. Our goal is to break down barriers, tackle stigma, and provide support and hope. So whether you're in the Americas, Africa, or Asia, Fertile Talks is your companion on the path to parenthood. Thank you for tuning in and welcome to Fertile Talks. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dr. Famuyiwa. So tonight we're going to, and it's nighttime, sorry, we're going to talk about toxins, particularly mycotoxins and fertility. So let's look at mold in your pantry, for instance. What defects do you see when you get toxins from mold? So we're going to do a deep dive on mycotoxins and fertility, right? So we're not talking about the kind of fungi that you see on your pizza. We're talking about fungi that produce some toxins that can quietly live inside your food. These toxins are called mycotoxins, and they are causing food safety issues worldwide. Part of the problem is they cause disruptions in reproduction. And we know that 60 to 80% of the food world supply is actually contaminated by these toxins. They can be found in grains, nuts, and spices, coffee, and dairy. So let's talk about, how these mycotoxins can interfere with your hormones. How do they interfere with your gametes, meaning your eggs and your sperm? And what potential pregnancy outcomes do you see? So mycotoxins are toxic secondary metabolites that are produced by certain fungi. The three most common fungi that are responsible are called Fusarium, Aspergillus, and Penicillium. The Fusarium brand of it makes a toxic byproduct called zearalenone, or ZEA, and deoxynivalenol, DON. The Aspergillus produces aflatoxin B and ochratoxin, and Penicillium also produces ochratoxin in stored food. These molds tend to thrive in warm, humid conditions, especially in properly stored food. So we do know that even processed or cooked food can carry some of these toxins because the toxins themselves are heat stable, meaning that heat does not destroy them. Now, how widespread is this problem? Mycotoxin contamination is actually global, and it's especially severe in sub-Saharan Africa and South Asia and Latin America. The factors that can increase the risk of exposure include poor storage practices, high humidity, and limited food regulation. So in the US, products like Organic peanut butter, spices, and coffee can actually sometimes contain these mycotoxins. What do they do, right? Why are we so worried about it? Mycotoxin can act as endocrine disrupting chemicals. These are substances that interfere with your body's hormones in five key ways. They can disrupt the ability of your body to produce the proper steroids, proper hormones that relate to your fertility. They can disrupt transportation of some of these hormonal signals, and they can also block or kind of copy the receptors of certain hormones like your estrogen. They disrupt what we call the hypothalamic ovarian axis. So in women, ZEA kind of mimics estrogen by binding to estrogen receptors, and it disrupts the hypothalamic pituitary ovarian axis, control from the pituitary in your brain all the way to your ovary. It kind of throws that into a loop and a haywire. The end result of this is you have ovulation dysfunction. Some people can have irregular cycles. Some people have polycystic ovaries manifested. Other people may actually end up having premature ovarian failure, again, all from exposure to toxins produced from fungi. Some of these patients may also, it could trigger early puberty. We call it precocious puberty. And some suggest may be linked to endometriosis formation. We do know that ZEA suppresses progesterone and estradiol production, and it thereby disrupts the menstrual cycle. In men, ZEA lowers LH, which will therefore result in decreased testosterone level, making production of sperm low. Aflatoxin B will interfere with the chemicals that are important for the production of steroids. And as you know, testosterone is a steroid. So when you disrupt its production, you lower the testosterone levels, and that can disrupt the proper production of sperm. On the other hand, OTA, that reduces testosterone and affects the sperm shape, the morphology. It affects the tail, can make it extra coiled, can make the sperm have larger head than it should be, or actually no head, kind of like a decapitation. They're toxic. At the cellular level, these compounds called what is called oxidative stress by producing reactive oxygen species. And if you've been following me, you can go look through some of my previous talks. I told you that reactive oxygen species can damage the DNA in sperm. It can also cause the egg to be damaged as well. It affects the mitochondria, both in the eggs and the sperm. And the mitochondria, the nuclear powerhouses. So when you start mucking around with those, you produce decreased energy, significantly poor sperm motility. There can be direct toxicity as well, right? So OTA will reduce the sperm viability, and it causes DNA fragmentation in the sperm. Aflatoxin B has been detected in the semen of infertile men, and it destroys the germ cell layers, the layers that contain the preliminary cells that will divide and develop into sperm. So if you knock those out, you start to knock the end product, the mature sperm, out as well. The other one, DON, it just causes apoptosis, which is cell death in ovarian support cells, the granulosa cells. The granulosa cells are the supporting cells that keep the eggs alive while they're growing. And it also produces decreased progesterone and estradiol, and it disrupts the follicle formation. And that's why you may end up with premature ovarian failure in some of these patients. In pregnancy, we know that mycotoxins can cross the placental barrier. And when they do that, they can result in fetal growth restriction, neonatal jaundice, preterm birth, and sometimes even miscarriages has been attributed. Sometimes we see neural tube defects, right? How do they do this? They do this by causing placental dysfunction. They dysregulate certain signals within the cell pathway called cytokines. And they're also directly toxic to the fetal organs because the fetal organs are still growing. And they cause intestinal inflammation in the fetus as well. So, what can you do about this? Knowledge is power. So, you start with number one, your food choices. Store food in cool, dry places. And this is hard, especially in some equatorial and humid areas. But you want to store food in dry places in airtight containers for your grains, your nuts, and coffee beans. You buy from trusted suppliers. Check for expiration dates and visible spoilage to avoid eating something contaminated. Now, mycotoxins are typically, how does the body get rid of it? It's broken down in the liver, in a phase 1 that converts the toxins to reactive intermediaries. And then phase 2 now binds this reactive intermediaries and excretes it in either the urine or the bile, which goes out through your stool. You can eat healthy vegetables that may help reduce oxidative stress and also hydrate very well. If you suspect your food is contaminated, you can get some functional tests such as urine mycotoxin panels, or you can also have environmental mode assessments. And, that's easier said than done. You can do that here. You may not be able to do that in some places where this can be a problem. So I guess what we need to do is probably just advocate and educate and advocate for stricter safety laws. I know when the community cries out, the government listens, right? Especially in some parts of Nigeria, they do listen. So you can, join the conversation on toxin-free fertility, promote research on biomonitoring. So key takeaway is that these are serious substances that can be causing worldwide fertility issues, health issues, and with proper advocacy and being aware, we can start to affect some changes. Again, this is Dr. Famuyiwa. If you find this helpful, please tag a friend, like, subscribe it, and share. And leave us your comments. Thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in to Fertile Talks. We hope today's episode has provided you with valuable insights and support for your fertility journey. Remember, you are not alone. Now, if you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover, please simply leave us a comment. And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe with a friend. Your ratings, your shares, and your reviews are greatly appreciated and is going to help us serve more of our listening audience. Thank you once again. This is Dr. Famuyiwa.